This movie was cute. It's been much anticipated for such a long time. I think it doesn't quite live up to the hype. Like it doesn't get to the level that I feel like it needs to get to, but it gets close. It's enjoyable. It's gives a little bit of insight into how the Sanderson sisters came to be the way that they are. Comes back to present day with three new witches, or one in particular. Town is super charming. It gives Stars Hollow vibes. Long before I became obsessed with the Pacific Northwest, I lived in Seattle for 5 years. That's kind of like the most beautiful like place that I love. But before I was really into that, I totally saw myself moving to New England. I think Gilmore Girls was to blame for that. Just the fall in New England in particular just seems very idyllic, beautiful, cozy. That is how Salem is portrayed in this movie when you come back to present day. Very much in the same way of how the first Hocus Pocus made me feel. Just cozy, beautiful scenery. It made you want to be there, particularly in the fall. The movie this time around did the same thing. But I think more than the grand movie that we got, or more than the grand movie that we thought we were gonna get, it felt more on par with like a Disney original movie, you know, that you would just get on the Disney Channel, or like an Are You Afraid of the Dark, Goosebumps vibe to me, which are all good things. But I was just kind of expecting something more grand, but I didn't hate what we got. The plot of the movie is somebody who was around in 1993 when the events of the first film took place. They wanted to bring the Sanderson sisters back. So you'll have to watch to see, or like keep watching. You have to watch the movie or keep watching my video to see spoilers. I'm doing the spoiler-free kind of right now overview. But somebody who was there in 1993 when the Sanderson sisters last came back wanted them to come back. And so they do things to set a sequence of events off that ensure that that will happen. They have a lot of the same aerial shots, you know, shots from above like the first movie did, which kind of harkened back to that, which was nice. Overall, it was a very good looking movie. I liked the look and feel of it. You do also get some flashbacks to the first movie to tie it in a little bit. This movie is not lacking in the song and dance. You definitely get a few dance numbers, which people really liked from the first one. I think you kind of have to have that in a Hocus Pocus movie. And I would definitely say that the ending is actually really heartwarming. I liked the ending, so that's good. A lot of times, if the ending is bad, it ruins the whole movie to me. If it was great up until that point, the movie's just like a throwaway in my book. So I was actually very satisfied with this ending. You get some bonus Sanderson sister singing through the credits. And at the end of the credits, there is a bonus scene. Kind of looks like it might be setting it up for a sequel. Probably they're trying to see how this is going to do before they do that. I think that overall the cast was really good. I particularly liked the shop owner. I thought he was really funny. You always have those one or two characters that provide the comic relief. He definitely did that. As far as the girls, or the main cast of kids, I thought that they were good. They didn't quite live up to the original cast to me, but I fully think that's because I grew up on the original Hocus Pocus and have watched that every year since. So that's probably why the original cast is so iconic for me, that this cast, while good in their own right, didn't quite live up to the original cast, but how could they? Honestly, it's not their fault. Was still a good cast overall. So I would say that this movie is worth a watch. And if I had to give it a rating, I would give it a B-. Pretty solid, respectable rating. And I would say definitely worth a watch. Watch it with your kids. Watch the first one, then the second one. So that's what I think about that. If you want to hear some spoilers, keep watching. But that was my spoiler-free review. So as I said, the movie starts out with you seeing the young Sanderson sisters and how they got their start. It takes place when Winifred, and honestly, Winifred Sanderson is the only Sanderson sister whose name I can remember. She's turning 16 years old. They're trying to marry her off to a boy in the town who doesn't actually want to marry her. And then you find out that Billy Butcherson wasn't actually a boyfriend of hers. Like, they kissed one time and he's just like, what is your deal? Leave me alone. And the girls that played the young Sanderson sisters did a really good job. They looked a lot like the adult Sanderson sisters and had the mannerisms and everything down too. So they did a really good job. So how they become witches, because they didn't always know that they were witches. They go out into the woods. They're kind of running away from the townspeople, and they meet a witch in the woods who first wants to eat them, but then she realizes that they're actually witches too. And so the witch that they find is all alone. She's without her coven. They're long gone. And so she gives the book to the sisters. And that is how they become the famed Sanderson sisters. So the shop owner who I mentioned before, who I like a lot, is really funny. He gives the lead girl, and I don't remember anybody's names. He gives the lead girl a black flame candle. And he says, you know, it's for her birthday. It's like on the house, happy birthday. They go out in the woods. I think they light it, and then like they quickly blow it out, and then it lights itself again. And then the Sanderson sisters are back. And they immediately start doing this dance number. And the girls, like, this is a really funny part that I liked a lot. The girls are like, who are they performing for? And then the blonde one, Sarah Jessica Parker's character, is like, you. And then I thought that was really well done. It was a really good scene and so funny because, like, I don't know. It was timed really well. I liked it a lot. Turns out that the shop owner was a little boy back in 1993. And I think he was like, I don't know, he was having a hard time or whatever. For whatever reason, he liked the Sanderson sisters, saw everything that happened when they disappeared at the end of the last movie, and he wanted to bring them back. He is obviously super into magic and stuff. He's the shop owner at this magic store, but quickly regrets that decision when he winds up basically doing the witch's bidding because they've got to do this spell. So he has to go and collect Billy Butcherson, who's back. And I really like the shop owner Billy Butcherson duo. They're really funny together. The shop owner is trying to do the bidding and get all the ingredients for this spell, and you can kind of tell he doesn't necessarily want to. He might be regretting his decision, but he has to do it. But he tricks Billy into helping him get everything because he says he's trying to actually send the Sanderson sisters back, which he's really not. He's just kind of trying to save himself. But the girls kind of try and convince the Sanderson sisters that in present day, you don't have to take children. There's this magical shop that has potions and stuff that already has the kids' souls mixed in. So they take them to a Walgreens. And that is a pretty funny scene where they run into teenagers that are dressed like them. And it made me think of, like, you know, obviously, like, if you really think of the Sanderson sisters at their core, you know, if they eat young kids and consume their souls to keep them young, that's not something that kids should idolize or, you know, but it reminded me of like Freddy, Jason, Mike Myers. They're killers, and yet they become something likable and non-threatening that children think they're fun and want to dress like them and get super into their stories and stuff. But actually, what is that happens? Like, it's kind of an interesting thing. It just kind of made me think about that, like the history with these iconic, whether they particularly kill kids or not, just these killers, you know, how they become so likable. It's really weird. I don't know. Like, when you really think about it, it's very odd. So the three friends in present day, they're kind of at odds with one of the girls because she's dating this football player, and they kind of feel like they're not as close as they used to be. But the sisters take issue with that one odd friend out because her dad is the mayor of the town, who is a descendant of the reverend who made the witches' lives hell back in the day. They wind up at some point kind of taking her hostage for this spell. But up until that scene, the Sanderson sisters, keep getting into these shenanigans, and they wind up at this Halloween festival where there's a Sanderson sister Halloween costume contest, and they wind up getting on the stage because they will always find the stage, and they lose the contest, but they wind up doing this dance number to One Way or Another. I don't know if that's like the name of the song, but that One Way or Another, I'm gonna find you, I'm gonna get you, whatever. And they wind up putting a spell on the townspeople like they did back in the first movie. And then the sisters go on this, this hunt for the kids because they're trying to do this spell. And there's one scene that was kind of cool where one of the sisters, they're like flying around town and looking in people's houses. And they come upon this couple on the couch watching the first Hocus Pocus movie, which was really cute. So I kind of liked that. Another thought that I had too was, I've never been to Salem, but I think it'd be pretty cool to visit. I think during the fall, it'd be really cool to visit Salem, and then also the place in Oregon that the original Halloween Town was filmed. I would have loved to have gone when I was living up in that area, but we never went. And we wound up moving to Nashville. That's where I am now. But I think that during Halloween, those would be two really cool places to visit. And then especially when my daughter's a little bit older and she's into the movies, I'm assuming she will be. But it'd be pretty cool to plan some trips to those areas with her. I think that would be a lot of fun. Anyways, point being, I wonder if people in Salem, Massachusetts, are in real life super into Halloween. I wonder how it is there. Like if it's like, during that time of year, is it wild? Like, is everybody super into it? Because Hocus Pocus makes it seem like they are. At the beginning of the movie, when the witch in the woods gives the book to the Sanderson sister, she tells them there's one spell that's completely off limits, and that is a spell they wind up doing. So at the end of the movie, when they do that spell, two of the sisters, the sidekick sisters, wind up just fading away to dust. And what's heartwarming about it is, as selfish as Winifred seems, and all she wants to do is be young, she loves her sisters more than anything. And she wants them back. And so the book has chosen the new witch, which is the main girl. And then I think they all three become witches, but they create a spell to not bring the sisters back, but for Winifred to go back to the sisters, wherever it is, wherever they go every time they fail in their mission. And she gladly goes back because she loves her sisters, and being young forever isn't worth it without them. And it was actually such a perfect way to end the movie. I really liked it a lot. That ending was really touching. So that's pretty much it. I gave my other thoughts about the movie. I thought overall, good movie, wanted a little bit more, just felt like, I don't know, there was like some kind of like big it factor that was missing for it being a Hocus Pocus sequel. So many people grew up with that movie as I did, and you build up your minds that there's going to be a sequel, it needs to be amazing. And I didn't think it was bad. Like I said, I give it a B minus. Did I say B plus or B minus before? I hope I said B minus. I give it a B minus. But I can't be mad at the movie. I thought it was all right and really worth seeing. So that is my review. Let me know what you thought about the movie, if you agree with my review, or what would you rate it out of a A through F grading scale. And if you liked this review, leave it a like, subscribe so you see more of my videos, and I'll see you in my next video.